What's going on, everybody? Ooh, my camera's off. That means it's unhooked. Welcome to the show, guys. I'll fix that in just a moment. Welcome back to the Pop Culture Corner. Sporadic show. I don't usually do Tuesdays, but I figured why not, right? I'm here. I'm feeling good, and let's do this. I can hear fireworks. Saggy, have you been hearing fireworks?
No, not at all. Not
No.
out here.
I don't know if the viewers know, but Saggy and I live in a similar area, not super close, but I've been hearing fireworks all day leading up to 4th of July. But we're here to talk about the week in review. Obviously, a lot is going on with our man Ezra Miller. Someone contacted Saggy and I, and I've been having a long conversation with this person and one other person who I can't say. Ever since I did a show with Saggy last night and showed empathy and sympathy, people have been reaching out and just saying that Saggy is on. So pretty much what they're saying is Saggy led herself to the truth and she figured it out on her own. So most of what Saggy is saying is relative to the truth, right? Relative being the truth from one side. We don't know the actual facts, but I mean, Saggy, you want to just kind of recap, kind of what's going on?
So basically, with everything that's going on with Ezra, even before this recent accusation, I had speculated based on common sense and common human nature that what happened in Hawaii wasn't necessarily what it seemed. Obviously, the footage we saw of Ezra getting into altercations, if you think about it logically, like cameras tend to usually go on when stuff is already in progress. So you don't get to see the context that led up to those incidents. So I had speculated that seeing Ezra on social media, how they conduct themselves, how very friendly and cordial they are with public, especially since they're a celebrity, it's kind of weird. But at the same time, Ezra is not your average celebrity. Ezra treats themselves like they are not a celebrity, if that makes sense. They are interacting with the public, they are engaging with fans as if like they are not like the celebrity that they are. So my thought process going into these footages when I was revisiting them was that Ezra was possibly being harassed because they were recognized as a celebrity. And usually how the public treats people, like I've seen it before. I've seen celebrities out in there in the wilderness. People flock
In
to
the
them.
wilderness.
Yes, people flock to them like they are a unicorn, because you don't see celebrities out in your general area. If you're local, you go to the bars, you don't see celebrities coming to your bar. So when you see a celebrity, you tend to want to engage with that celebrity. You're starstruck. So I speculate that there might have been some people approaching Ezra and their companion, travel companions, trying to engage with them. And at that point, Ezra was there for a reason. This has been public that people said Ezra was in Hawaii for a reason. There was a tragedy that happened to them revolving somebody that they lost, and that's why they were out there kind of just trying to get away. So I feel like at that moment, when you have somebody who's on vacation, who's just there because they're grieving, they're not in the mood to be dealing with people's bullshit. And that's what I felt like happened. And that was kind of confirmed for me when the body cam footage came out, when Ezra kept saying, I was assaulted. And the story behind that one of the incidents in the karaoke bar, I believe, or one of the bars, was that somebody approached Ezra and was talking to them, said something that kind of set them off. They started arguing, and then Ezra was pushed. And then Ezra retaliated by spitting at a person. And that's where that body cam footage of that incident, where the person who was the alleged victim of Ezra literally confirmed, yes, Ezra spit on me. Like Ezra didn't put hands on that person, but Ezra did spit on them. And that did kind of put some pieces together that, yeah, it does come off as Ezra was just there minding their own business. People approached Ezra, and Ezra got, the altercation happened.
Right.
As far as this accusation with the grooming comes into play, it is very weird that the timing of all of this
Hey,
The
Adam,
the
settle down. Even, of course she's sexy.
Oh, thank you. You just stop it. Stop it. But the Instagram account vintage.devil that came forward and took responsibility for spreading the grooming accusation did
Which
show
you had
screen
a conversation with on
Instagram.
K
And
Dot's thing, right?
yep, and an Instagram. I actually talked to them all day on Instagram before that stream happened. So I actually was talking to them prior to that happening. But yeah, that person came forward. They are allegedly labeled Ezra Miller stalker. So that's a different type of story. But the one thing that they did confirm, at least to me, and people will say, oh, screenshots can be faked. But basically, they were the ones that contacted Chase Iron Eyes, who is Takata Iron Eyes' father, with concerns of grooming with Takata. And this all goes back to the person, Mia Salon, who had a relationship with Ezra and then came out and claimed Ezra abused them. But that was debunked by witnesses who said that the issue was that Mia wanted a monogamous relationship.
Monogamous, yep.
Yes, a monogamous relationship with Ezra, who is openly polygamous. And Ezra said no, and they retaliated by making up these accusations. So there's a lot of players in this story that are pretty disingenuous. So if you are a smart person looking at this story from all angles, nothing adds up. But some things are kind of confirming for me, which is what happened in Hawaii, and then the accusations of the grooming, which came out recently due to an anonymous Instagram account reaching out to Takata's father, saying that, yeah, there's some stuff going on with Ezra and Takata.
Right. So I think there's just been a lot of hearsay on this whole topic where
Mm-hmm.
every every news outlet thinks they're right. Every news outlet is running a different story, or at least using words that you know tend to make the reader think guilt is because none of the articles are giving you the equation. They're
Right.
pretty much deeming it Ezra guilty.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that I think that's a huge problem with the news right now.
What's interesting how perception plays into it too. I mean, not necessarily the exact same, but I mean, look at the incident with Tom Hanks. Did you all see that this week?
When he pushed the guy,
Well, he didn't even push him. I mean, he just told him to
he just told
back
him
up.
back off
Yeah,
because
it's
he was
like
too
back
close.
the f
Yeah,
off, and Tom Hanks, notorious nice guy, and so I think when you're in a situation where the people are coming at you and they just kind of forget because you're a celebrity, you're Ezra, you're Tom, and they pushed like Tom Hanks's wife over, but because he has that, I guess, nice guy reputation that everyone's like, oh yeah, of course, but if someone's harassing you and I guess you lose control and you spit on 'em, it's just how I guess you're originally perceived, so it seems kind of unfair to put a bias on that.
yeah.
Right.
And with Ezra, the person was relaying the information to me saying that you know they were advised to not say anything, not make any comments, kind of go underground. Um, the part about that, the summons thing, like the summons to court, I'm not sure how it works in tribal courts.
Right. I mean, I'm not really sure
Like
either.
who's serving? Is it the authorities, the police?
Well, I'm assuming, because again, I don't know how the tribal courts work, but I mean, I'd assume that it's kind of similar because they do have to be served uh by a official.
Right, a court official.
So,
Yeah, whether
right.
it be tribal or not.
Right. So that's the thing. And that's why, like you said, the headlines are making it sound worse because then everyone's saying, well, Ezra's hiding and Ezra's running. Ezra's not being charged. Ezra doesn't have a warrant. A warrant is something you have to turn yourself in because that's a warrant for your arrest. So that if Ezra had a warrant out,
Which
it would make sense for the headlines to say Ezra's running from the police because they need to turn themselves in. But a summons to court is basically saying, hey, somebody's taking you to court. You need to sign this paper saying you will appear to court to defend yourself. And if you don't, you waive your rights to defend yourself on this case, and you might have a bench warrant out for your arrest. So
yes,
that's
it
the way
could
the summons
lead.
work.
It could lead to a warrant, but it is not a warrant. It's basically
Correct.
just it's a document saying, "Hey, be at court this day, asshole."
Pretty much. And if you don't, then you cannot defend yourself. And if you want to later on, you still can't because you already waived your rights. And that's all it is.
So I don't know if anyone remembers this, but by the way, my camera's working now. Yay! So what in Pineapple Express, Seth Rogen's character is a process server, or whatever they're called. So he is a contractor who works for the court or whatever, and sometimes they have to trick people into saying, yes, I am this person in order to serve them. That's the stage we're in. Ezra's not being arrested. Ezra's not being detained. Ezra's not missing from the police. Ezra is not hiding from the police. Ezra just has not received that document, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Right.
And that's not a bad, people, sometimes it takes a while to get served. However, the last reports I got was Ezra is in Massachusetts.
I
would have left Massachusetts if I was Ezra.
I think they have.
Because of just because the latest accusation had the family or the mother and the son, or the mother and the kid, accused of a gun being brandished and threats being made. So I would have left Massachusetts at that point. But the problem now becomes crossing state lines.
Well, again, there's no crime being reported. So
he can still cross state lines. It's just a protection order from the family.
Right, right. So they haven't.
Which is bullcrap, because we literally talked about this last time, Ty, that the person that accused Ezra, the 12-year-old girl, the week before, people who know them were showing text messages from the woman saying, hey, can we come hang out with you guys? So this is somebody who wanted to hang out with Ezra a week before they wanted the protection order for their 12-year-old. So, I don't know. You guys do the math on that one, because I don't know about you, but if my kid, if I wanted a protection order to protect my kid a week before, I would not be trying to hang out with the person that I'm trying to get a protection order away from. So
also, I do want to go into it, the fact that if my child had been groomed at the age of 12, I would not wait till she was a legal adult and to press charges. Because at that point, you can't do anything. It falls on Takotas or Gibson to actually press charges at that point. It doesn't matter what the parents think at this time.
I mean, unfortunately, the act of grooming itself is not.
It's a very severe.
It's not ill. I mean, as long as you don't actually, lay hands on it or whatever. I mean, or the messages and stuff. I mean, sending pictures.
Well, the implications of it are.
Oh yeah, the implications are skeezy, and that's why no one likes that action. But I mean,
right.
I guess there's technically not, unless they lay hands. It's not illegal. So the parents couldn't press charges. I mean, they could tell them to get away, and you could restrict the child's connection in that case. But unfortunately,
right.
Well, that's the other issue too, is that I've been hearing, and it's been publicly stated by multiple people who know Ezra and Dakota, that their relationship is strictly platonic. It's actually, matter of fact, somebody posted a picture of Ezra with Dakota and Dakota's girlfriend that's been traveling with them. So who is doing the grooming?
It seems Ezra might be guilty of being a nice person and trying to support all these people. And I think that's maybe we're all missing the point. Maybe there's so much pressure from being a star in movies, right? Especially one, because Ezra, since his debut into Hollywood, Ezra has been looked at as what was after Perks of a Wallflower as being the face of queer Hollywood, right? That that's a lot of pressure for a young actor. And then not only is he cast in Harry Potter franchise with Fantastic Beasts, but he's subsequently handpicked by Zack Snyder to play Barry Allen, the Flash, in the DC universe, right? That's a lot of pressure and obviously a lot of money. So, well, a good amount of money. As a young actor, I'm sure he's not getting paid, millions and millions, but he's doing pretty good for himself, for themselves. And he the environment around him, I'm sorry, the environment around them is probably what's bad for Ezra, trying to help all these people. And, they're not going to want to give up their support system now that they've left their families and they're, so it's kind of a thing. It's a situation of Ezra's own doing, but maybe they can't get out of it now. They don't know how to get out of it. And it's all just snowballing and the pressure's there, the anxieties are there. Like no one knows what it's like. Imagine being Ezra right now, having your name in the news every single day.
Every YouTuber that like YouTube, I watch a lot of different YouTubers, and even YouTubers that I've watched that I wouldn't expect to talk about this are talking about it. And that's when you know this is a huge issue. The thing that people have been ignoring that I really want people to understand, which is what people are missing. There are a lot of pieces of this story that people are not putting together. The Standing Rock Youth Council, I might have been butchering that, but
it's the Sioux Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Court.
Right. So I was going to say, the youth council that Takada was part of, issued a statement on Facebook. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was that somebody that was part of their tribe, and their movement, had passed away. And that it was somebody that was close to Takada and that they were mourning this person. And that kind of went along the lines of like what Enosh had hinted to and what Grace Randolph basically confirmed when Grace Randolph talked about it the last time she did a stream. And that was the big thing that I was like, okay, so what had happened was somebody close to Takada passed away. Takada struggling with their gender identity. That's two things that Ezra can relate to. So they reached out to Ezra. I need help. Ezra being the person that they are, I'm here to help. I have the money, the means. We're going to Hawaii. Because what people don't remember is Takada was in Hawaii with Ezra. That is what a lot of the people have said. Takada was out there with Ezra. And things went south while they're trying to deal with all of this. And then all of a sudden, the grooming. And I'm like, again, people aren't understanding. They're not listening. Takada has come out many times saying, I'm fine. I'm okay. Takada's community has come out and said, we've talked to them. They're fine. They're okay. All these accusations aren't true. And nobody's listening to them. Nobody's listening to them. And they're sitting there saying, well, how can you believe these people who are close to Ezra? I don't know. The people who were close to Ezra are the ones accusing them. How could you believe them? So that's the problem that I have, why I'm so passionate about this, because it's really the most insane thing that we can believe people close to Ezra that are accusing Ezra of these awful things, but you won't believe the people close to Ezra that are saying these things aren't true. Now, I don't know about you guys, but people lie. People lie about celebrities to get clout, their 15 minutes of fame, to extort them for money. Why would this do any different?
I mean, look at what they do with fucking movies, right? Look at what they do with movies. They'll tell you anything and everything just to get you to click on their article. So it doesn't surprise me that, and we see this in the news almost every single day, right? Them
Right.
exaggerating a headline. So it's all
Right.
clickbait.
Right.
You can't guilt them for it, right? Like you can't guilt them for it because we all do it.
Right.
But
And
when they go on record and say this is what's happening and it's not the truth, that's when sticky situations happen.
yeah,
'Cause at the end of this, Ezra may go around and start cleaning house. Like if Ezra loses all of his acting jobs because of this, I guarantee Ezra goes around and ruins people for defamation. Especially if Ezra comes out on top of all this.
right. And that's the thing too. He- like people have been talking about this whole Ezra Miller thing for a long time, and really for me, I've been really kind of quiet on it because I really didn't get the full picture of this whole thing, really the reason why I mainly stayed quiet on it was really because of the timing of the whole thing. I'm not big on the whole LGBTQ thing. Like I just think of normal people as normal people. Like I instinctively call Ezra a he. But really, like to me, how I saw this whole Ezra thing, I found it really kind of odd that all of this came out as soon as wrapping and production of the Flash film came out, and it goes back to the whole 15 minutes of fame thing that you've always talked about. So, and really, now that I have more information on it, it does seem that my speculation was true on that fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's just it's easy. It's easier to want to believe that somebody you don't like is guilty than to literally see and wait for everything to come out on both sides. Because, like I said, there is not a shred of concrete, undeniable evidence that says, yes, Ezra did this. Oh, a few second videos of Ezra getting into an altercation. Okay, but where's the context? Well, there's no context. Why is Ezra getting all fights? Oh, I don't know, because they're not a local to Hawaii and they're a celebrity, and people tend to not know how to act, especially in a bar when they're under the influence of alcohol. So they say they get their brass balls on because they're having a few drinks. So yeah, they're gonna walk up to a celebrity, especially one that is queer, maybe looks a little funny,
A little bit more approachable.
right? Like, I'm gonna go
Right.
up to you and I want to talk to you because I feel entitled to do so because you're a
And they-
celebrity and I
And they
watch
think
your
they're
movies.
inferior because he's a little because Ezra's a little bit more, flamboyant or probably loud. I could see Ezra being very loud and like once he entered a building, there you knew Ezra's there, right? I'm sure the personality shines, and some people, especially in places like that, don't take well to it.
Mm.
Pretty much. I mean,
If you're not a local, they look down on you. Like this goes for anybody. If you're not a local and you're making a scene or being yourself, whatever that may come in, people always like give you that stink eye.
and you're not a girl, because girls can do that. They're fine.
Right,
Girls
right.
can go to bars and be all like that. It's cute, and guys will come over. But if you're a guy doing that, especially somebody that looks like Ezra, because Ezra's a young, very attractive,
Very
young man.
attractive.
So-
Listen, I'm not, I'm straight, but Ezra is a very attractive man.
Right. So an attractive young man going into your local bar where all these guys are probably trying to get a little play of their own, and then you have the hot person walking in there, so all the girls like, ew, then you're like, now I'm not getting laid tonight. So
Right.
they want to pick a fight. So like I said, I get that the optics does not look good for Ezra, but just because something looks bad doesn't necessarily mean it is bad. It just looks
Yeah,
bad.
look at the Johnny Depp thing.
Yep,
Right?
exactly.
Johnny Depp, that whole thing looked terrible for Johnny. And then it turns out we all had it backwards. Like
Yeah,
every single person I know had it backwards because it was so easy to agree with the victim or
yeah.
the quote unquote victim. I'm sorry.
And that's why I've tuned out, honestly, so much of this here, especially recently, is because I don't think we're going to know everything for a long time. I think that's just the way it's going to be. So it's just
At
one of
least
those things
not
where it's
until the court.
it's yeah, I mean it's
But
a
even that
fire hose
court-
of information every day, so it's
The-
one of those things. I think a lot of the details are going to be coming out honestly over the next few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tribal court, we won't know much. Those things are very much kept under, lock and key to the rest of the world. However, the Massachusetts case, I'll go to it. Saggy,
Same.
we should go to it.
Yeah, I would
It'll-
100% go because it's really it's the thing that bothers me the most, right? Is that Johnny Depp was different because Johnny Depp's been a celebrity for a long time, has pretty much barely had any controversy surrounding him, and is overall a likable person. And people have gotten to know Johnny a lot longer than they've gotten to know Ezra. So all they know about Ezra is that Ezra had a few scandals in the past, minor things, maybe share leaking music that they weren't supposed to, things like that, like minor things that could be perceived as wow, Ezra's kind of a crappy person. So obviously it's like obviously the bias is a big thing that's bothering me. Is that people like trusting that Amber Heard was lying about Johnny, especially after Johnny released that recording, and then everyone saying, okay, Johnny didn't do this. But like when people are trying to say, well, Ezra didn't do this, it's like, no, Ezra's a weirdo. It's like, but why is Ezra a weirdo? Because Ezra is like trying to be what most celebrities aren't. You would never get many celebrities, and this is why they don't do these things, because of the trouble it causes them. But celebrities don't interact with people like some of these actors do because of scandals like this. Ezra's guilt, if anything, I would say, is that Ezra let too many people in that have taken advantage, and that has led to them being exploited, blackmailed, slandered, defamed. If Ezra, and on top of that, after all this is said and done, if WB or Discovery 100% officially makes a statement that they're out, like that's damning. Like Johnny didn't even get their roles back after the trial.
Yeah.
After they won the trial, it hasn't been announced that Johnny got their roles back. Johnny most likely won't be getting those roles back because now Johnny's alive.
No.
Well,
he's definitely going to get some of them.
It also is, but it's also a different scenario because
True.
the Flash is very much a character that's going to keep going on. It was always up in the air whether Jack Sparrow or what's his name, Grindelwald, now, like, because once they replace Grindelwald with what's his name, goddamn,
Mads.
The other person, yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen, the end of that film, like that was it for now. You know what I mean? The next time we see them, it's going to be in multiple years, and it's the Flash is just a different story. The Flash is in a cinematic universe that spans across multiple movies, and the Flash is a very pivotal point to it.
Right. Eric brings up a good point, and I was actually going to bring this up too, about how Hawaii treats outsiders.
I already said that. Yeah.
Right. But I don't, here's the thing. I don't necessarily blame them because Hawaii is a tourist attraction. And like most countries or other places, like when you get a place that is a tourist attraction, you get a bunch of people that aren't locals that come there. They're on vacation and they get wasted and then they don't know how to act. So I'm sure that they've gotten probably sick of a bunch of people coming around, with their outsider attitude, because I think Hawaii citizens, they act a certain way. So when you get outsiders coming in, then they're not used to that energy. They're not used to that type of mentality. it does clash. So that's why I said, like, when they were like there in Hawaii, I'm like, something happened. You can't tell me that Ezra just was sitting there drinking with their buddies and looked at some guy and was like, "You're looking at me funny. Let's fight. I'm gonna spit in your face." Like, no, that's not how it works. It's cause and effect. Something caused those altercations to happen, and because it happened at one bar, it started happening everywhere. Because again, remember, Ezra's not a celebrity. I'm sorry, Ezra's not a normal person. Ezra is a celebrity. So when you have a celebrity in, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a celebrity out in the wild. Like, seriously, and I say that because it is wild. I remember one time years back when Ben Affleck first was dating Jennifer Lopez back in the day. Okay, Ben Affleck is from Massachusetts. He has property out here. So one time Ben Affleck showed up at my grandparents lived in a park, a trailer park, and there's an ice cream shop down the street. Now my cousin and my uncle were at that ice cream shop, and here comes a nice ass expensive car rolling up to the ice cream shop, and out comes Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. And like that, this is a small town. This is down the Cape. So it was a small town down Cape Cod, and people just flocked. Like, people saw what was going on. They stopped when they saw Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, right? So it's crazy when you see celebrities out in public and towns and places that you probably would very likely see a celebrity. It's wild how people swarm them. And just, Jennifer Lopez, by the way, for the record, Jennifer Lopez was very nice. She signed autographs, took tons of pictures. Ben Affleck, not so much. He was not happy with the people surrounding them, wanted to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
but that's how it is.
Ben's always been like that. Like, Ben is he is true to his character. He's always been like that. Like, out in public, he just wants to be left alone.
Exactly. And that's what they should be. They should be like, I get it. It's like you want to talk to a celebrity, but at the same time, you have to respect the boundaries. But people are starstruck, so they do that stuff.
Right.
You know what's funny? I work on Newbury Street. In Newbury Street, guys, in Boston, is very high end. It's very, very high end. And I saw he's not like a super celebrity, but for anyone who knows Barstool, Dave Portnoy, he does like the pizza reviews and shit. He's super famous in like New York, Boston.
I'd say that Portnoy is pretty famous everywhere at this point.
Yeah, you think so, right? Yeah. You don't know, you know Dave Portnoy.
El
Presidente.
No.
Everybody one bite. Everybody knows. One bite. Everybody knows the rules.
I did hear the name once or twice, but really don't.
I'm glad I'm not the only one on the panel. I'm glad I'm not the only one on the panel because I would have felt dumb as rocks.
Well, 50%. 50% knows, 50% does not. Guys, let us know in the comments. Do you know who Dave Portnoy is? Because I'd be shocked if more people didn't know who he was. Well, anyway,
he's just one of those love him or hate him people.
Yeah, but mind you, that the same day I walked into Dave Portnoy, I had just finished an interview with Garrett Dillahunt, who's in Army of the Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead. He was in Deadwood. Garrett's been in almost fucking everything. And I just finished talking to him. I walk outside my work, and then Dave Portnoy walks by with his fucking smoke show supermodel girlfriend, and I looked at him, and because I'm not a weirdo, I just looked at him and I said, "Everybody knows the rules," and I just like kept walking. I'm not sure if he heard me, but anyway, there's a way to like approach a celebrity, and then there's another way to do it.
I mean, some celebrities you can approach if you follow them and see how they interact in the public sphere. Like Adam Sandler was roaming Boston around when they were shooting Grown Ups 1. Adam Sandler was in Boston. I only know this because this would piss me off. So when they were shooting Grown Ups 1, they went to Waterwiz down the Cape. And my cousin and uncle.
That's where they did the theme park.
Yes, that was at Waterwiz down in Wareham, Massachusetts. So my cousin and my uncle were extras in the movie at Waterwiz. For some weird reason, they turned my uncle white. In one scene, you see him for a second, and then the next frame, he turned to a big white guy. It was hilarious. We laughed till this day. The editing was hilarious in that one. We're like, post
Oh
did
my
not catch
God.
that. But after that, like I missed them at Waterwiz, and then when I went down and I was my cousin and my uncle were telling me about their parents, like their extras in the movie. I get a call from my roommate and said, "Dude, we just met Adam Sandler." I was like, "How? How did I miss these people twice now?" And yeah, Adam Sandler was walking around, and I guess he did a voicemail for his boss and said, "Hey, this is the So Adam Sandler was approachable, and was very happy to talk to fans and do stuff for fans. And that's, like I said,
well, he's also from this area.
Yes, but the best thing, this is the best advice I can give to people. If you see a celebrity, like I said, follow. Like if you follow their career, you can see how they are in public. There's videos out there that show how they treat the fans in public. Just say hi,
or
ask them.
Or this. I'm sorry to cut you off. I guarantee, if you see a celebrity, and this is coming from experience, I guarantee if you see a celebrity, and whether depending on the situation, if you walk up and say, hey, I really, really love you in this, and then walk away, they will be dumbfounded, right? Because they expect you to like want all these things from them, or like if you see them and it's a quick pass by, like say hey, and then keep walking, right? Don't swarm them. I genuinely appreciate, because they're never going to remember your name, no matter how much you want them to, right? They're ever. So why even bother? But give them a nice hello. Let them know that you enjoy their work, and keep it moving, right? Treat them like a person, and I guarantee they will remember you.
And I do that at conventions. Like when you see there's guests and celebrities at conventions, you see them walk by, I'll be like, "I love you," and I
Although
keep moving.
when we met Ray Fisher, we stayed there for a while.
Well, because it was a special case.
Luckily, you needed like 9 things signed, because we got to stay up there a while and talk to him.
Well, I wasn't gonna go meet Ray Fisher and not get certain people autographs. That would have been just silly.
Yeah, for the record, Saggy bought this. That's why I'm buying her something at Springfield Comic-Con. But yeah, I mean,
I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of different people just through my work, and sometimes the rule is, it's like, if they're busy, if you wouldn't want to be interrupted in that situation, then I would say go for it. I mean, like if someone is like eating and they're in a conversation, like don't go up to them. Like the people that go up to celebrities at like restaurants while they got half a mouthful of lasagna and are like, "Can I get a picture?" Like, I don't understand that.
Eminem says it the best, right?
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where, and I think a lot of the problem is that like celebrities get agitated. It's just because like if you come up and you're like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" and it's just kind of airy, and they're like, "Yeah, no,"
and they're like,
really.
And they're at dinner.
Don't press it. Like, just don't press it. I think most of the times that celebrities, just get the most upset is just like when you don't kind of respect that space. And I think that a lot of people do that. They and that's the thing. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You create a great character on the screen or on TV or wherever, and people kind of feel like they have some ownership in that. But you just, they're people. You just gotta respect their personal space. And I've had a lot of cool pictures with people, and a lot of people have been awesome. And some people don't want that picture, but it's kind of like what Ty was saying. You just be like, "Hey, like I really respect your work. I loved you in this. That was a big thing for me." And typically, like if you don't press the issue, like I don't think they'll go home and be like, "Yeah, that guy was great," but I think they're not gonna be like, "Yeah, that guy was a jerk," and they're not gonna tell a bad story about you.
Just treat celebrities the way you would want to be treated. Like, do you want to be like harassed while you're going shopping for like just food and stuff? No, you want to be able to like walk out your door and like, yeah, I think the whole thing of being a celebrity, the expectations that normal people have is like, well, they're a celebrity, they should expect that. It's like yes and no. It's like, yes, they should expect to get attention, but no, that doesn't necessarily mean that warrants them to give us the attention that we are wanting from them. I think that you guys got to really think about putting yourself in their shoes. Like for a while when it first happens, yeah, you're gonna be excited. You're gonna be like, yeah, dude, yeah, Ty, you can get a picture. Thank you for the support. But as time goes on, years and years of that, with you going out to the beach with your family just to be normal and to have fun, you have people snapping pictures left and right or coming up to you when you're with your kids, especially with kids. I cannot express this enough. If you see a celebrity with their children, stay the F away from them. Do not, because the thing is, these kids, these children don't understand what's happening. They're too young. They don't understand what being a celebrity is. So yes, like don't go up to them if they're with their kids, because that's traumatic for those kids when they have hundreds of people swarming them. It's scary because they don't understand why it's happening.
Yeah, that's like the fastest way to make someone angry at you is like celebrity wise is to like take a picture of them like with their kid.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I hate Kanye West.
You'll get punched in the head.
Yeah, and it's really a lot much. It's really the worst you can really get is it really go to kids that are celebrities, because the thing is, like, you guys probably don't remember this because people don't really talk about it, but there was the story about how the actress who played as Iron Man's daughter in Avengers Endgame was.
Oh yeah, she got I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
People are mad at her about something.
Yeah, like she wouldn't sign any autographs.
Yeah.
And also the same thing goes for the person. I'm trying to remember his name.
Dude.
The person who played as young Anakin in the Phantom
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd. Like he really did get the worst of it.
Imagine being a little kid and not really even realizing that you are in arguably the biggest film of all time. Because at that age, the girl who played Morgan, she has no idea what she actually was a part of. And she won't know for at least another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And then she'll look back and be like, fuck, I was in the biggest movie since Star Wars, like the original, right?
Right.
And and now, like right now, she doesn't want to sign autographs. Leave her the fuck alone. She's a kid. What are you gonna get out of her? The next the villain of the next phase?
Right. By the way, Billy Robert makes the best point. Like celebrities are just regular people who have really cool jobs and a lot of money that they make off of it. They really are not that different, but like obviously when it comes to fame and fortune, they have to be different. Like I was saying on my stream earlier, I'm like, do you understand that celebrities have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars just to afford to have privacy? That is the legit thing you give up when you become a celebrity is privacy. So you have to spend thousands of dollars to buy a house away from people, to have a gated house so people stay out, to buy security cameras, to rent security people to watch your house. Like you literally have to spend your entire, like all this money you make just to have privacy and be a normal person in your own home. And that's crazy.
I mean, it is also a trade-off. It is, let's not pretend it's not a pretty sweet life overall. And I know that that's kind of the point of the conversation, but I mean, I think there is a healthy balance to be had there. Like, don't be a jerk to people, but at the same time, you know, no one likes the celebrity that thinks that they're like cool, like than everybody, you know, and if you just run into someone that's a jerk, you know, I think that's going to end up, you know, reflecting on them, no matter how big of a star they are.
The best kind of celebrity is someone like Keanu Reeves.
Yes,
that's true. He takes public transportation, which is cool. But no, I was gonna say you are right. It is like they do live luxurious life, but again, it's at the cost of their privacy and a little bit of their safety sometimes. So I mean, it's kind of like good and bad at the same time, because again, you are living a good life, but all that money you have to pay to preserve that life. Like I said, Ezra Miller is literally a living example of like how a celebrity trying to lead a normal life and have healthy, normal relationships with regular, everyday people is now biting them in the ass, because now Ezra is responsible for these people that they are traveling with and taking care of with all the money they've earned from the movies they've been in. And now, because of all this, like, look at the controversies they're dealing with. Trying to be a normal person, going into a local bar on vacation became an altercation with multiple different locals over the fact that they are a celebrity and they are not from that area and they have money. And maybe those people pick that fight because they're like, oh, I'm gonna get this person to hit me so I can sue them for money. These are all things now that Ezra is not understanding, because they don't see themselves as a celebrity. They're trying to be normal. And that's, like I said, it's a cool thing to be a celebrity, to have that fame, have that money. But at the same time, look what you're giving up. Look at what you have to do to be yourself and be a normal person. It's not even being normal at this point, because no normal person can afford to have privacy the way celebrities do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And privacy isn't even, privacy is one thing, but you cannot go anywhere without someone, or you literally say you're in a bad mood one day, right? You're just in a bad mood, and
Right.
you go out to get the paper, right? And you're in your boxers, and your hair is facing 19 different ways. There's going to be a picture of that. Like, if you're a big enough celebrity, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
There's going to be a picture of it. Like, and yeah, I guess that relates back to privacy, but like the public perception of you as well. Like, I don't know. Fame and fortune is something everyone wants to attain, to be, or to have. But once you get it, you realize that all it is a different set of challenges, a different set of circumstances.
Right. Bro, you can't even be upset in public. Like, if you are upset in public, they're gonna take pictures. You'd be like, Ty was,
and you're
culture corners. Ty was seen in public looking like a dick.
And
you're like,
and you're
I was just
constantly
having a bad day.
and you're constantly held on a pedestal. Billy said it, we treat them like gods. It is actually pretty delusional to see, like, people used to worship in gods, right? Like legitimate gods, like they used to pray to gods. Like, now we look at celebrities like Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr. or these Henry Cavill. We look at these people like they're larger than life, like they have something that we don't. I mean, of course they have something that we don't, and that's more money. But for some people, that's not even the case. Right?
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, for me, like, I think of it like this. Like, it's okay for kids to have like these role models, have these celebrities be like role models to them, like John Cena and stuff like that. But really, when it's like you're an adult, you're like literally worshiping them like gods, and that right there just isn't right, because it's like, dude, you're both adults. It's like, I get why your kid is like looking up to the celebrity, but why are you?
And we all did it. We all did it as kids, right? We all had idols. Yeah. Will Smith is my idol. Will Smith is an iconic actor. I get, right. He had a little bit of trouble. And that's kind of like why I can empathize with people that love Ezra. Because I saw Will Smith smack Chris Rock on the biggest stage of all time, and then just be in the news for weeks about said slap.
Oh, wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
I love that that's just on tap all the time.
Yes, it's on.
You fucking moron.
Of course it's on tap. But thank you for the $1.99 super chat, Sam Williams. Will the Flash be recast?
No.
Saggy, sound off.
No, it's not. Everyone wants that. Listen, they spent too much money already to shoot it. Do you know how much more money they would have to do to find somebody else to replace Ezra, write up a contract with that person, then also reshoot all of the scenes with this new person? They are not going to do it, guys. And remember, these industries are businesses first, and they think about the money before they think about anything else, which is why they literally have not said anything publicly about Ezra Miller or Amber Heard. They are focused on how this whole situation impacts them financially. Now, the real question is, will Ezra continue to play the Flash after this? I've heard very conflicting things. On one hand, I heard, yes, they will not be continuing with Ezra Miller. On the other hand, I heard that they are waiting until this is done, until they figure out what the verdict is and how bad it is or whatever. Then we'll see. But they are not going to recast, guys. They cannot afford to. It would cost them too much money, and they do not believe that the turn back from this movie is worth recasting. So no, they're not recasting. If they were cast, they'd be stupid to waste all that money. But they, as far as I know, they are not recasting. They are going to release it. They're still trying to figure out how they're going to release it. I don't know if it's going to be theatrical or streaming, but I'm telling you right now, they're not going to recast.
So it looks like.
like
what they meant was afterwards.
Yeah, like afterwards. That's what he meant.
Oh, sorry, I went on that rant for nothing. Sorry, guys, I went on a rant for nothing.
Well, no, you got the point across though. So you're definitely right. They will not be recasting the Flash. Like that is just simple business acumen, right?
Oh, I thought they were just going to digitally add Tig Notaro in later.
Well, here's the thing. Here's another thing too. We don't know what Ezra's contract is. No, I didn't get it. But we don't know. We don't know Ezra's contract. Oh, okay.
So they did. Zach.
They cut Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, Zach did something so amazing, because go back and watch Army of the Dead. Honestly, Army of the Dead is not my favorite movie of Zach's, but it is fun. But if you go back and watch it, and you go back and look for it, specifically Tig Notaro's scenes, know that she was not on set at all, ever, with any of those people.
Yep.
Chris D'Elia was. And she had to act on a green screen and in different environments for doing whatever. Like she had the benefit of being able to watch the scene and then reenact it. But she filmed her, she stepped in for Chris D'Elia, and they had to film her afterwards and insert her into the movie over Chris D'Elia. It was the most, it was, and then you can fucking telling me that they couldn't CGI a mustache off.
They could have.
What the fuck?
Right? They could bring people back from the dead, but they can't CGI mustache. How is that possible?
Like,
that was just lazy.
Like literally, Zach put a person in a movie, and if no one ever told you this, you would never notice.
Yeah.
You would never notice. There's a scene where Tig Notaro, did I just say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tig Notaro.
I thought I said it wrong. She is at the fence, and the other character is on the other side of the fence, and they both have their hands interlocked in the fence. And it doesn't even make sense how it worked, but Zach made it work.
Yeah.
This is the same guy who filmed Green Lantern in his driveway, right? So, I mean, right. Zach is just a genius.
That's what happens when he taps into that Netflix.
Well, I was gonna
money.
say too, before I forget the point I was gonna make is like, so just to add further to answer that question. We also don't know what Ezra's contract is, as far as has Ezra already signed a contract for future Flash movies, and if that contract was breached by Ezra. if we learned anything from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, where Walter Hamada was kind of explaining how, and also other people who are privy to that industry were explaining how the contracts work. If you don't recall, if you weren't watching, basically how their contracts work is they offer you something, they offer you a contract for X amount of dollars. If it's a franchise, which was what we're talking about when it comes to with the DCU, they offer you a certain amount of money for the first appearance. Then if they want you back for a sequel, they're going to offer you more money, and so on and so on. So we actually don't know how many offers Ezra got, and as far as that, what was the conditions of that contract. I don't know if some contracts might have, like, you can't be in any trouble or scandals or a breach contract, or you can't do anything that makes the franchise look bad. So if they have something like that, then yeah, Ezra's not going to come back if they breach the contract, but we have to count what that contract is, which we don't know.
I mean,
well, you got to think.
WB,
I'm sorry. One sec.
No, go for
it. You got to think about it like this too. So Ezra Miller, his Flash contract is up after the Flash, but we forget that so in reality, he has been the Flash 4 times in 5 movies, right? So Batman v Superman cameo, and we know that those
Peacemaker.
Those appearances count. We know that. So I'm sorry, you just threw me off, because that would add one more. But so Batman v Superman cameo, the Suicide Squad cameo, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and now it would be the Flash as the 5th. But also I forgot Peacemaker cameo. I think that was a one and done contract kind of thing. I think it was just like a commission kind of deal. I think it was kind of like a last minute thing. I don't think it was part of like a bigger contract, but the 5 movie contract that Ezra signed is over after the Flash.
Okay, so I just Googled it real quick.
Or it was 4 movies with an extension for the Flash solo.
Well, it says this was back in September 16th, 2021, that Ezra Miller reportedly signed on for 3 Flash films. So they were supposed to, so this film was supposed to be part of a trilogy. So they were supposed to be signed on for let's see, Miller has thus far played the Flash in 3 films, including Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, in both versions of Justice League film, as well as the Suicide Squad cameo, CW's Arrow. So they were signed on. This was supposed to be a trilogy. I think the Flash was supposed to be a 3-part film, if that's what this report is saying. I could be mistaken, but if that's the case, then yeah, if they were signed on for 3 films, and this is just if that's true, then again, we'd have to see the contract to really say if they could actually recast them moving forward.
I mean, listen, WB just has their finger on the button for what they've built so far anyway. I mean, they're ready to blow it up and build something new. And
the thing is,
I saw the funniest meme, but let him finish.
No, I was just going to say that, I mean, if the way that contracts in Hollywood work, if they want Ezra out, they'll be out. And they'll just start with something new. You know, they could pay them out. They could find a loophole. They're going to build something in there to protect the studio's interests, even if that's, you know, not necessarily monetarily. It's just that if it works out better for them to just start new, they'll do that. You know, if they want out, they'll find an out. That's just how it's going to go. And I don't, the way things have gone, unless the Flash movie makes just a dump truck full of money.
And it could, honestly, it could, because not only is Keaton in it, but Sasha Calle's Supergirl, rumored Henry Cavill appearance. We know Ben Affleck's in it. All of those things, plus chaos sells. And unfortunately, there's some chaos going on with Ezra right now. So
I'm not gonna lie, I had no interest in seeing the Flash until this happened. I'm like, now I gotta see the Flash.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. People
guess that makes fun of us, because I personally still have no interest in seeing it.
I mean,
But
I gotta see it now, just because if I don't,
Are you
then
a DC fan?
I am, but I'm just gonna wait for it, just like I waited to see the Joker and waited to see Matt Reeves the Batman.
Oh, so you still watch them. You just wait.
like I still watch them, but it's just
You're
that
just not going to the theater.
yeah, like some of them, like these movies lately to me haven't been really theater movies to me, if that makes any sense. So
Well,
that's just it.
you might as well start thinking they are, because I mean, it's not getting any better anytime soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm just ready, honestly, with Flash, just for the movie to be here and gone, because the discourse, as much as bad as you
Oh
may
my
think it is
God,
right
it's been
now,
so bad for
I mean, when
years.
does the movie drop? Like, what's the release?
The current
I
release
don't
date.
know
I think
anymore.
That's what I
The
was thinking.
current
'Cause,
I
release
think
date
it drops July 2023.
yeah, if you that's, I mean, we're a little over a year out, and if you think the discourse is bad now, it's just gonna get worse. I mean, I think WB is just throwing it back, hoping that maybe this will blow over, but it's just getting stronger. And so, they could keep pushing it back and pushing it back, but there's going to be a point where people are like, we don't care anymore.
No, but
Right.
you know what the shittiest thing about this whole thing is it happens to be the movie that fundamentally changes the landscape of the DC universe to what Warner Brothers wants to do. So again, I revert back to what I've said many times. It's like we're at the starting line and we're running in place, because every time we get a leg up, or the gun fires and we start to run, we cramp up. The DC universe, started with Zach, and then all that stuff happened, so it halted. Right, we had a good footing and we had a good takeoff, and the plane had to land, but then we're trying to start something new, and just all these problems out of the original Justice League, right? Each of them are being X'd off. We are left with simply, just say Ezra is out, we are left with Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman,
Yep.
and Jason Momoa.
Yep.
Ben Affleck obviously is in The Flash, but we don't know what his role is past that. Henry Cavill, that's all speculation. So at the moment, we have 2 Justice League members. That's it.
Now they're going to bring back Keaton full time.
Well,
Full time. Batman Beyond.
You know what? At this point, I just don't even care.
Yeah.
I just don't even care. I just want good stories to be told.
Yeah.
It is truly exhausting to keep up with.
It's
and
fucking exhausting.
You know what else is exhausting me? I'm exhausted. I have to go to bed.
And like the whole Ray Fisher thing, right? Ray Fisher thing could have been so fucking avoided, and they could have had a cyborg, but they fucked that up too.
The thing with
Before we continue, I really was serious. I do have to go to bed because I do have a day job. I can't be a full-time YouTuber yet, guys. I'm sorry, but I do have to go to bed. So
I can't either.
Yeah, I know. Well, I do have to go to bed. I have to be up in the morning.
All right,
so.
yeah, good.
We're gonna wow, wow.
No, I'm just kidding. Saggy and myself, guys. Saggy and myself will be at Springfield motherfucking Comic-Con on July 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is when the convention is. You can get your tickets for $10 or $20. $20 is the VIP one. You get a print and you get early admission. But general admission is $10, and the money that you spend really goes. The real money is spent doing all the shit that's inside. So, guys, we can't wait. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna announce some details in the coming weeks about our plans specifically for our booth and stuff. But Saggy, where can they find you to continue the conversation?
Saggy Melons with the Z on YouTube's. Y'all already know I yell in my mic, and that's what people sometimes find entertaining. I don't know
Yelling
why,
at the
but
mic.
yelling at the mic like Eminem. I'm always yelling at the mic. But yes, no, you can find me on Saggy Melons with the Z, Twitter at Saggy Melons, as you see on the screen, and on Instagram, Saggy Melons with the underscore, because for some reason somebody else took the name Saggy Melons on Instagram, and I have no idea who it is. They don't have any pictures. I'm angry about it. It took my name. But yes, thank you guys for having me, and justice for Ezra Miller, and Ezra Miller is innocent, so just remember that when it comes out, all you haters out there talking all that shit, I hope you. I'm not going to say it because this is not my channel, but y'all know where you can go. But thank you for having me, Cameron. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Everybody, always, it's a pleasure. You guys are amazing, and I love y'all. So,
Love you too, Sag. We'll see you soon.
all right. Bye,
And
guys.
text me so we can work on that banner.
Yep, I got you. All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
All right. Couple more topics, and then we're gonna probably be wrapping it up. Actually, I didn't even realize we just went an hour on just Ezra Miller. And, well, not really. We did other things, but who has their tickets for Thor, Love and Thunder?
Not me.
I mean, I'm gonna go see it, but I haven't pre-bought yet, so I think I'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, it's the hype for that is, I mean, it's definitely going up, which you love to see.
Yeah. So Gore is testing as the most the
It's like
villain
the most
that
understood villain, which I think is
Yeah.
interesting because I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of people related to Thanos.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, if he is more relatable, because basically what happens is, Gore's family dies.
Mhm.
Not just dies, but dies terribly, like of starvation. Well, his final son, it's him and his son, and his son, he promises his son that the gods are going to help them. He will not die. And then, a day or two later, his son dies of starvation. He survives, and he, blames the gods and says that they're not real. And then two gods land, basically in front of him in the desert of a different planet, fighting. And he realizes that gods exist, yet they don't give a fuck. And that's when he gets all black the Necrosword from Null, because Null is one of the gods that crash land. And he goes, the sword gives him immortality, and all that kind of stuff. So Gore vows to kill every single god. That's compelling. That's compelling.
I think that, and that's what the thing. I think up until now, like, not enough people have been talking about Christian Bale. Which
Yeah.
I think that that's a thing that it feels underplayed, and I know it's been talked about a lot, but I feel like.
Well, wait. What do you mean?
Like, I feel like. I mean, lots of people have been talking about Christian Bale, and but that's a massive get for the MCU.
For this movie or in general, Christian Bale?
I think for this movie, I think for Thor, I think that this is an insane pickup.
This was
MCU.
an amazing cast,
and I feel like that has been underplayed. And
Yeah,
maybe I just haven't been hanging out in the right.
They got
Twitter
American
hashtag.
Psycho to play Gore the God Butcher.
I mean,
right?
It's really, because I mean, the last few films he's done, I mean, haven't necessarily been in this genre, right? I mean, the last time he kind of touched this was as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
And that was a hot minute ago. But yeah, I think it's a massive get, and I think that he's really gonna bring it to the role, and I think that that's something that people aren't saying enough.
But yeah, like, the thing about me is, like, with Christian Bale is that I think he's too much of a get. Like, what I mean by that is, like, judging from the trailers, you're gonna see him being like the darkness of this whole of it, Thor Love and Thunder. Like my thing is that I think that Christian Bale is actually going to bring his A+ game into this, and it's really going to be kind of worrying because it's going to be mixing in with the tone of the movie as well. Like you're gonna have like is how can I say this in like a comparison? It's gonna be pretty much like the Thor stuff is gonna be like Dora the Explorer, and the Gore the God Killer is gonna be like BVS. If you know what I mean. Like it seems like this movie is gonna be very confusing in terms of tone.
I don't know. I think
I think that's a good point. I mean, because look at what we've seen so far. I mean, because we've like all the things with Thor in the trailer so far look very colorful and 80s, and
there's
the
a
stuff with
reason for
Gore
that.
is very like washed out, and the
There's a
contrast
reason,
is
though.
ramped up.
Look,
Yeah,
what's the only color you see here aside from the logos
the
and
yellow.
stuff? The yellow in his eyes, right?
Mhm.
Right. I think that Gore is so if we remember the Infinity Stones, right? They were essentially created by the Celestials and the gods, right?
Right.
And they are the reason for everything in the universe, including color, right? So, you know, Gore killing all the gods and the Infinity Stones, you know, power still being out there, but living within the gods instead of in the stones, as now that they've been destroyed. With each god that dies, a piece of that power dies as well. So I think Gore is in this movie going to be the absence of color, like almost when like the all black, the Necrosword. You know what? Any shot you see with Gore, he's always black and white. And then there's that shot of them fighting on that planet, and every time you can see the light, like one half of Valkyrie is in color and one half isn't, right? I think that Gore is slowly taking the color from the world.
It's like the anti Bob Ross.
Yeah, he's bringing the darkness on to the universe.
I mean, that to me is just kind of weird, but that's a choice. Like, I really don't see, like, to me, I guess you could say, like, out of context as we're talking about it right now, I haven't seen, obviously, none of us have seen the movie yet, but just really talking about it is still kind of like a weird choice to me. But I think it will make a lot more sense in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just there is definitely a reason that the color palette is, because there's no reason to use a you know, color like that if you're not using it for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think it's directly tied to like here, look at Thor's arm that's closest to us, right? And then if you're looking at the picture, the left side of his face is gray. The left side of his body is graying compared to the rest of himself, right? The cape is still red. So in this fight with Thor, Valkyrie, and Gore, something's happening where the more that something the more that Bale wins, or the more that Gore is edging them out, the less that color there is. I don't know. I'm still just as confused, but you know, we'll definitely. I really can't wait for this film. I am disappointed that it is so short.
How long is it?
1 hour and 59 minutes to tell.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
and
that's short.
the thing about it is after Endgame, right? Endgame was what, 2 hour, almost 3 hours,
Yeah, it was 3
Yeah.
hours
3
exactly.
hours long.
Yeah, 3 hours exactly.
The stories that you tell post Endgame have to be bigger and better. Why are they shorter?
There's
Like,
no way you can go bigger and better than Endgame.
no, I'm not talking about like beating Endgame every single time. But if you want to tell these more cosmic and more like deeper stories, we shouldn't be cutting almost 30 minutes out of a normal superhero runtime, which
Yeah,
is like 2.5 hours.
yeah,
Doctor Strange suffered from it.
yeah. Like I think Sam Raimi said that they cut like 40
2
minutes.
hours and 47 minutes.
Yeah,
And it would have been a much better movie had that 2 hours and 47 minutes been there.
yeah.
Okay, don't all speak at once.
I mean, if you
Jesus Christ.
if you don't need it, you don't need it. And I mean, I think Sam Raimi
You can't make this shit up.
is in a different kind of area, you know. I mean, I think Sam Raimi, you know, and a lot of that too was content. I think he pushed the horror boundaries on Disney pretty far, and so that's a lot of what made it to the cutting room floor. But I mean, a 2-hour movie is still pretty solid. I mean, I know we would all want, you know, endless time, but I think, I mean, if it works, you know, and Taika has done good work, then you know, I trust him. You know, and people have done, you know, more with less, honestly. So I reserve judgment until I see the movie to make any calls on the.
I mean, I of course, I definitely understand what you're saying. I just, I, in my opinion, the 2 hours and 15 to 2 hours and 2.5 hours is like the perfect runtime.
Yeah, because like to me, I'm like when it comes to like the runtime and stuff, like or actually no, when it comes to like Taika Waititi, like I really am really new to him as a director, and like really the first movie I did see was Thor Ragnarok, and that to me I just really kind of didn't like. It was an okay movie, but just that like I haven't gone back to watch Thor Ragnarok at all except for that one time. Like I only seen it once. So like when it comes to like Thor Love and Thunder, it's pretty much like the same thing that I'm getting in Thor Ragnarok, which I know people are kind of excited about, but to me it's just kind of like, to me personally, that that type of film to me isn't really kind of like my cup of tea. It's kind of like one of my gripes, especially
Yeah.
when you're trying to be like very
mean-
jokey for just kind of like no reason. But really, other than that, like I gotta say, the only reason why I'm gonna watch Thor: Love and Thunder is because of Christian Bale and Christian Bale alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, if you got to have one reason, I mean, that is still a
Yeah.
pretty solid reason.
Yeah.
If it's not your cup of tea, you know, and I know people blame Ragnarok for being, you know, too jokey for Thor, and you know, sometimes I lean into that.
they're
But
definitely not gonna like this then.
no, and that's what I think. I know that it's going to be, but I mean, I think that a lot of people think the Guardians are going to be in it longer than they are. I think that
Yeah.
they're just going to be at the beginning for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're not going to see them again till the Christmas special.
Well, I think that
Unless they come back at the very end.
no, I think that all the Guardians are at the beginning, and then I think one or two stay, probably Rocket and Groot, to be honest. Stay, and then the rest leave, and then show back up at the end. So I do think that Rocket and Groot will stick around, but That's my opinion. I've seen some of the promo footage that would suggest that there are more people in certain scenes. So
I mean, maybe. I mean, but I think everyone acts like it's going to be like Chris Pratt Star-Lording the whole time, and that's just not going to happen.
Oh no,
No,
because this is
that's not
very much this is 100% a Jane and Thor story.
Jane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And Korg.
Yeah, Korg's the comic relief.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Korg's more the comic relief and like the brute, right? Even though is he even a brute?
I
haven't really seen him fight, like actually like fight. Get down
I mean, he
and
just
dirty
uses
fight.
guns. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and Tessa Thompson.
Yeah,
as Valkyrie is
Ragnarok
gonna
was
be
2
awesome.
hours and 10 minutes. So it's actually not that much different. But including credits, Thor 4 will be, so if it's 1 hour and 58 minutes, that's at least 11 minutes of credits.
At least. That's like when you see those Disney Plus run times and you start doing the math in your head. It's like, well, if they have the last time on and then you have the intro and then you have the credits, that's like a 20-minute episode.
Yeah, that's a 22-minute episode. That's wonderful.
Like, where's Ewan?
Yeah. What have you been thinking of Obi-Wan?
I love it. I'm here for it.
I love it so much.
It too, man. Like after this stream, I'm probably gonna watch the season finale.
Is it out?
It'll be out at like 3 a.m. So at this rate, who knows?
Sometimes they drop it early.
Yeah. But
that means Miss Marvel will be out as well, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really messed up that Disney has their release schedule for their Disney Plus shows. If they were going to release their newest IPs on the same day as something like Obi-Wan, just like they did with Ms. Marvel and Obi-Wan. Like, I really wouldn't think it would be smart to release both of those episodes at the same time, especially when the season finale of one of the most beloved shows of the franchise is reaching a finale. So I think they can really change their release schedule.
I think the reason that they did that is just because they were worried that not enough people would watch Ms. Marvel. And so that because maybe they thought there was less interest for whatever reason, but
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, instead of doing what they do, and they typically just have like one goes into the other. Like they'll finish like a Marvel series that'll go into a Star Wars series that'll go into another Marvel series because they want to keep you hooked and they want to keep you on that subscription plan. But I think with Ms. Marvel, they were like, we don't know if we have a hit yet, so it's like we're gonna overlap them a little bit. So it's like you're already on the app. You just finished up Obi-Wan, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give Miss Marvel a shot.
If I was going to release them at the same time like they did, I would have done Wednesday, Friday.
Exactly.
Wednesday Miss Marvel, Friday Obi-Wan. But
I would love to see the metrics, and I know we never will, but it's like because Disney did test having shows on Fridays and it didn't work for whatever reason, and they switched it back to Wednesdays. So I don't know if it's because people get busy or what, but they decided that midweek release.
But it's like they know that people are gonna watch.
Yeah, but you got to wonder what they're going for.
Back in the day, like on network cable or network television, your like when you debuted an episode, those were the numbers that mattered, right? Yeah. That's not the case anymore.
What's those first 24-hour numbers? I mean, as opposed to live ratings for a static program, I mean, they look at that 24-hour launch numbers, and if they're just not adding up, then they have to do something about it. And I mean, that's where it's like, at least Disney keeps the one episode a week model for the most part. I mean, they dropped the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, which still doesn't make sense because it's a surefire hit. Like, there's
Yeah,
no way,
yeah.
even if the first episode was awful, there's no way that people wouldn't be like, I'm not going to come back for round 2.
Right, right.
And I kind of wish they'd done that to sustain the hype a little bit more, because
And we would have had one more week.
yeah, it's like opening, the more
Same
presents before
thing.
Christmas morning. You're kind of like, oh man, I got it. It's like, but then you're like, oh,
Same,
but
same thing with fucking Stranger Things. I'm so upset that they release. I'm just upset that Netflix. Like, I love the binge. I do. I get it. I love the binge because I'm selfish. But this season specifically of Stranger Things would have been so amazing week by week.
and I mean, that's the thing. It's like this season of Stranger Things, each episode is like a full-length
movie.
And so it's
The
like
last
it's a-
fun fact for everybody who doesn't know. Sorry. The last episode this season of Stranger Things has more visual effect shots than season 3 in its entirety. And it's going to be 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
yeah.
From when I heard, it was like 2
Hold
hours
on.
and 30.
You're glossing over the fact that one episode has more VFX shots than season 3 as a whole.
Right.
I mean, that's awesome. And that's what the thing, but also that's kind of a testament to season 3, which I think is outstanding in that kind of that practical usage.
Yes. Yeah, well, but Vecna, like the behind the scenes stuff that they did for Vecna. By the way, the same person who did the Night King did Vecna. That's why it looks
Makes
so
sense,
good.
yeah.
It looks so good because they didn't use a pullover rubber suit. It's a mold that it's assembled, right? So it's like 20 different pieces that are like it's 8 hours of makeup a day.
Oh, yeah.
On the day, so like Vecna's even the only thing that aren't practical on Vecna is the vines, like
of course,
the moving vines. Everything else, Victor Creel, that was all practical.
And see, that's another thing, because like the Duffer Brothers, I mean, grew up kind of on that practical 80s, 90s horror. And it's kind of what Sam Raimi tapped into more on Multiverse of Madness. And I think we're seeing more of that, which I love. I love that in horror.
Yeah, because really, like, to me, like, I really am, like, I've been going back to actually kind of like this deep dive into the original 80s and 90s horror, and really it's just really great, and to see that being brought back to 2022, and yeah, like, I'm 22 years old. Yeah, I'm young, but the thing is, like, I am a huge fan of the old school in a way. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you actually do get to know me, like, I really am kind of like a old school person in a 22-year-old's body.
Right. Yeah. No, what's great about old 80s films is the use of practical, like Wolfman still is regarded as some of the I mean, there are makeup artists that still say that makeup in that it's Wolfman, right? No. I'm sorry, it's not Wolfman. It's
Are you thinking American Werewolf in London?
American Werewolf in London. That the makeup in that is the golden standard, and still to this day has not been beaten, right? And that was a film that how old is that film?
I mean, that is late 70s, early
Yeah,
80s, I
it's
guess.
it's insane, right? But the like I actually strongly urge every single person to watch the behind the scenes featurette of Vecna being created. It's fascinating. The actual work that goes into, and this is on a daily basis. Like makeup artists are so critical to the
Mhm.
movie making process, and
Yes.
the mix of practical and digital is just making everything so much better.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Everyone talks about, the people that sit in the chair and, get all the stuff applied, but to be the person applying that and taking it off day after day is kind of a Sisyphean task. But it's got to be so worth it to see that come to life in that way that you can't recreate any other way.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so I would love to have a makeup artist on the show.
Mhm.
I've had stunt people. So I had Adam Hart and Richard Citrone. So Richard Citrone does all Zack Snyder's movies. He did the iconic warehouse scene. That's Richard Citrone.
Yep.
It's not Ben Affleck. It's Rich. So I've Adam Hart did Polka Dot Man. Adam Hart did all like the Ryan Gosling stuff. So I mean,
Oh yeah. I mean, there's so much respect for that. I mean, it's like I got to interview through the radio James Jude Courtney, who is Michael Myers. He's the Shape in the new Halloween movies. And it's just the level that goes into that, because not only is he, doing extremely physical stuff, he has to be this character. He is that character, and the mannerisms and everything. Like, it's one thing, to get set on fire. It's another thing to get set on fire as Mike Myers,
right. Yeah, no, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Just the things that can be done in filmmaking these days is someone just brought up the volume. The volume is another thing that is revolutioning. I believe I taught you. I taught you a little bit about it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I've looked way more into that since our episode. And
Yeah.
it's so impressive and so incredible. And it really does seem like a land of limitless possibility.
Yeah, and the volume in itself is a mix of practical and digital, because the LED screens are all the way around, but everything that leads up to it, that's why people get so confused, is because there'll be a big Star Destroyer for Star Wars, and then half of it is practical, and then the other half is digital, and you don't know where it begins and where it ends, and it's trippy. One of the funniest stories that I remember from the behind the scenes featurette for The Mandalorian was the fact that it was one scene where Mando's ship is on fire, and that's right before we meet the mechanic. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Amy Sedaris.
Yeah, she's amazing, by the way. She's like she's awesome in that show. But the ship's on fire, and someone walked into the volume and thought there was an actual fire because they couldn't tell the difference. And that's how realistic it is. It's just insane.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, guys?
I mean, ready for that Obi-Wan finale in, I guess, a few hours. That's going to be incredible. Stranger
What do
Things
you guys
drops. When does they dropped the trailer today for the finale? When does that episode, or it's 2 episodes, right? When does that come out?
It's July.
July 1st.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, because that trailer dropped, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it's nuts. I mean, they got
Wait a
Kate
second.
Bush
Wait.
going.
A new trailer dropped today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for the last 2 episodes. It's got the Run Up That Hill, great remix. But
Wait.
yeah,
Hold on. We're about to watch this.
okay.
So you haven't seen it?
No.
No, it's good. It's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
it's good.
Volume 2 trailer. Oh my god, 14 hours ago.
Yeah. It was blowing up Twitter earlier.
So we're about to watch the Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 trailer, guys. I just want to say this: we do not claim ownership of this video. Please, we are just reacting to it. Don't take my video down. God for I don't. I only make so much money off these videos. Where courtesy of Netflix. Just let me know if you guys can hear it.
I know you're frightened.
Can you hear it?
That hill. They did such a good job on the music for that alone. But that's like
Oh
that's one of the
my
few trailer. Like I can't
God.
think of the last trailer I watched that just gave me like chills. Like I just get chills.
You know what I really love about Stranger Things? Is
Tell us.
They try to find a way to top themselves.
what?
They try to find a way to top themselves after every season.
No, because you're looking at it the wrong way. It's not that they were trying to top themselves. A lot of people don't know that they've had this story, not written out, but they had a like a diagram of where the story was going to go since the beginning.
Mhm.
And they always wanted so there was always 5 seasons.
Mhm.
Now 5 seasons is currently what the Duffer Brothers are saying that it's going to end at. That could change.
I still think it's gonna be
I-
locked in at 5. That
I-
plan has been
listen. I hope it does, because if they go past 5, we know that they are milking it,
Mhm.
and a Game of Thrones situation could happen.
Yep.
With the
Yeah.
Upside Down, there are so many stories that you could tell, parallel dimensions. But at some point, it's going to get boring, right?
Yeah, like,
That's the thing.
they-
There will be spin-offs at
right.
some point.
And
There's no
Oh,
chance there won't
but the
be a
spin-off is going to be the best part, right?
right.
Because we can start over with different characters, because clearly, Hawkins and Hawkins and they've already alluded to that this is not the only gate
Mhm.
in the world, right?
Right.
There,
Yeah.
there are other gates.
Right. And that's the other thing too, like when it comes to Stranger Things and all the and really I would actually compare Stranger Things to Cobra Kai also as well, because what they both kind of have and really what they and really kind of what really the Cobra Kai creators and the Duffer Brothers have is that they clearly outlined their entire story. Like I really didn't think that they would tie, like, spoilers for the volume 1 ending, but I didn't think that they would tie in the whole Mothergate thing and how that was created. So it's like clearly they've had a plan from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I think they're gonna have to keep it at 5 seasons because, and just looking at the scope of the trailer for these last 2 episodes, this is going to be, I think, and maybe I'll be wrong, but I think this is going to be Stranger Things is Infinity War. I think at the end of this, there's
Yeah.
going to be a
I will say
horrific
this.
failure,
Yeah,
and they're going to have to right the wrong, and that's what season 5 is going to be. They're going to have to. It's something.
Speculation.
It's just going to.
This is mere speculation, guys.
Right.
Please. Unfortunately, Stranger Things was one of the shows I did not get to watch early, so I am in the dark like everyone else. Apparently, the rumor is, and this is a rumor, but at the end of this season, you are right, Cameron, in the sense that the night, again, what I said about the Night King earlier, the Duffer Brothers the reason that they chose the guy that did the Night King was because they said, all right, we have this character, he's like our Night King, you know, who should we get to do this? And they said, why don't we just get the guy that did, or the team that did the Night King? And they did. So this is very much their Night King. This is the person, this is number one, right? We've all been wondering, you know, her name's 11. We've met other numbers, but we never knew number one, right? So number one is the strongest of them all, and created or was the, you know, there when the Upside Down was created, right? So I think the end of this season, the heroes are, you can see the way that they're setting this up, and you can see that the tone of the story, as the kids get older, the tone of this is getting darker, right?
Oh,
So they're going to lose at the end of this season, and then season 5 is going to be a massive invasion by the Upside Down into the real world.
Yeah, and
They
I don't
hinted at
know.
it. They
Right.
said it. A war is coming.
Right,
and it's
and Ty, I don't know if you guys really know this, but the actor who plays as Eddie, he said that this is going to be that the whole season finale of Volume 2 is going to be pretty crazy. And and looking at this trailer, he wasn't lying, because it looks like this is going to be insane.
And that's the thing. The Duffer Brothers, with each season, love to emulate one of their favorite 80s movies. And this last season, I think, is going to be the Red Dawn season. I don't know. I mean, how familiar you are with your 80s movies.
I know Red Dawn.
But I think it's going to be that Wolverines, like, they're going to be in hiding, and they're going to be, you know, warriors against this invading force. And I think we're going to see a lot of parallels there, which I think would be awesome.
So the Upside Down takes over.
I think there's going to be a serious invasion, you know. Yeah,
so the Upside Down takes over, you know, Indiana.
Yeah.
And, you know, our characters are the ones on the inside, right? And they're the ones that have to stop. I could see that, yeah. But the Duffer Brothers are very good at the Duffer Brothers are, what they do really well is they are willing to rewrite, like, or change things that don't work, right? So their willingness to adapt, right? They were talking about how, you know, spoilers, by the way, the scene, what they dubbed as the demo fight in the prison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of shit went wrong during that sequence, and they rolled with it, and a lot of it. So at one point, you see a pipe fall. That wasn't supposed to happen. They left it in because it looked good. Like there was such a challenge to that demo fight, and they had to rewrite it several times. Just 15 seconds of footage during that fight took them almost a month to get right. So season 5, I guarantee, is 2024.
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna make it people wait that long. I think it's gonna be like
I will say this.
Endgame. I think it'll be a year, but
I don't know about that, Cameron.
No,
because
it's
I don't
definitely
know
gonna
about that,
be.
Cameron. Like Cameron, I'm gonna tell you why I don't. I think it's gonna be 2024 because this is actually what the Duffer Brothers said. They said that they said about like a week ago before this trailer came out that they were still working on the VFX for the Volume 2 season finale.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like I said, there's more VFX shots in just that episode than
yeah,
season 3. The reason that there's 2 volumes is because much like when I talked to lead editor at Marvel Studios, right? I was talking to him. I had him on the show 3 days after Spider-Man No Way Home came out, which he edited. They were still editing the day after it was in theaters.
oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean
wow.
that's not
Yeah.
unusual. I mean I guess it just depends on
Yeah.
when they film season 5. I mean did they film the 2 seasons together? I never actually
No, they did not.
Okay. Then I mean maybe it would be early 2024 or maybe they're going to wait and have the kids be a lot older. I mean maybe it's going to be like what it was in Endgame where you have that kind of 5 years later, card come up. And they'll
I'm just gonna laugh at that real quick. Like
By the way,
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I did hear some rumblings about that. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
by the way, another reason I think that it's going to go longer than 5 seasons is the fact that they didn't shoot 4 and 5 back to back, because typically if you're doing like a heroes
cohesive finale.
Yeah, a big the heroes lose and then the next season is the redemption arc. Typically you'd shoot that back to back, but they didn't. So I don't know.
I did well. They could be going for an Ed Chapter 2 situation for season 5.
Yeah, I know, but think about, so the kids are only getting older and older and older. Right? These kids are still growing rapidly. Like they did, the little girl, what's his name? Sister. She plays Dungeons and Dragons now.
Erica.
Erica.
Yeah.
In season 4, she's still kind of like a little girl. Just for the press tour, she looked like she was like 17. So, like, you know what I mean? Like that, she looks like a whole new person at this point already. So, like, that's the one thing Stranger Things always suffered from, is the kids grew up so quick that the show had to kind of jump around.
Yeah. I mean, unless they do pull like what you're saying, like an It Chapter 2, and it's just they jump so far in the future, they recast everyone. But that just feels...
I know.
Yeah, that would
feels
feel
like a betrayal to what it's been about.
Like the thing is, I'm not saying they will recast them. I will just say that my thing is, I think they're going to show them as like fully graduated, like as their senior year. Like I'm not saying, like, I don't think they will go that route.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
casting them. I think what I think, if I am correct on this, if they are going the whole time jump thing, I think what will be happening is that it will be around the time of graduation that the final season takes place.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
But
that would be a great
No.
time.
Because if we're going on the notion that the heroes lose and there's an invasion, like the time jump would they wouldn't be.
I mean, theoretically,
they wouldn't be in high school. They'd be fighting a war, and school wouldn't matter anymore.
I mean, what it could just be like, the end of Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows, where it's just
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
technically the graduation year, but they spend it actually fighting a war. So, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have a lot more
thing is-
answers come July 1st, and we'll have a heck of a lot more questions, and that's the
Yeah.
fun part.
Yeah,
Right,
I guess
'cause-
we'll get back together then, but
Yeah.
we are gonna wrap up now because we are at that 2-hour mark. But guys, Cameron, where can they continue the conversation with you?
Yeah, hit me up on all socials at Camco Radio. You can find me there. So yeah, but
Anything special coming up?
I mean, just all sorts of stuff in the works. We're getting ready to put out Coast to Coast season 2. We've been working on that now that we're kind of settled in the new locale here in New York. So yeah, I mean, big things coming for that. But just in general, just settling in, enjoying it, and planning on coming to Boston soon. So I'll let you know about that.
Yeah, when you're in Boston, you can come by the studio and do a live show.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be super fun. Jeffrey, where can they continue the conversation?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter and also follow my YouTube channel, Jeffrey Warfield Jr. Really, my YouTube channel has probably really kind of been on this whole limbo thing. But yeah, you can follow, but really to mainly follow me, you can follow me at Twitter for J Warfield 2 at J Warfield 2. So yeah,
That's it.
yep,
J Warfield 2 at Twitter. Is that it? How you spell it like that?
yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the panel, and shout out to Saggy Melons for also joining us today. It was super fun. This is a last minute panel, so we didn't get to have everybody on that I invited, but we'll also be doing to be fully transparent, guys, I'm going to be doing more live streams during the week, as well as the podcast on Sundays. I do need a little bit more money coming in. I'm not struggling, but I don't want to pick up a second job like Uber or anything like that. I'd rather put more time into making videos. So sending a super chat, becoming a member, supporting the show, all of that really, really does help. We're putting a lot of time and effort and money into the show. I mean, look around me, right? And then plus things like Springfield Comic-Con and all that other stuff. We do it for you and we do it for the culture. So, it's not just supporting the channel, you're also getting something out of it. For the membership, actually, I filmed today. I filmed the Mark Pellegrino Comic-Con interview, and it's already available for members. So members only. They got access to the whole, even the things that aren't gonna make it to Comic-Con. That the members have it right now. So there are perks, interviews, specials, and certain news you'll get early. So sign up now. Links are in the description below, as well as all other links and descriptions. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, make sure to like this video, share it on social media so your friends, family, and Mephisto can watch along with us. And obviously subscribe for more content like it. And remember, we do it for you and we do it for the culture. That was really long-winded. I'm fucking kind of out of breath, honestly. I figure I'll stall a little. I don't know. Just kidding. Love you guys.
Recap.